a Renault, a bit of a smash. We've got Wacky races out to the finish line. Oh, are we gonna see some donuts? Some beautiful donuts. I'm getting hungry. And what better way to celebrate the first race in a new series than
Well, hello there, OceanChief here. Had a few technical problems with our family live. Thanks to my thousands of listeners and watchers. We are joining 2SRL today for a race at the legendary Suzuka track. And already the guys are on track. Anybody watching, if you want to give me a heads up on the audio levels. See, the stream quality isn't the greatest right now. Hopefully we can change it. Yeah, that's alright. Alrighty, let's see. So we got Hugo is looking like, yeah, he's looking pretty fast right now. Well, 129.216, and we've got Danny, Clara are the only other guys to set a time. Got distracted there by Wimpy saying my voice is sexy. Thank you very much, sir. You creep. Yes, and there we got Thimo as well. So I think there's going to be around about 10 drivers in this race. We've also got joining us, hopefully, will be Terror, Triton, TipsyBob, Icewind, Dead Pixel, Hugo, Thimo, and Clara. So keep an eye out for those guys. Hopefully a few others will join us. We have 10 minutes left in this qualifying session. So right now, Hugo's the top dog. He's got a pole position, 129.216. We're riding with, oh, there we go. Terror has arrived. And he's announced his arrival with a very fast time. Puts himself into P2 with a 129.672. Not too bad from Terror. And I've been listening out for the for AC chattering to us. Oh, someone gets it a bit. Someone's going very slow out of the pit lane there, and actually caused a bit of a pile-up. I'm not sure who that was. Let's see who is on a fast lap. We've got Hugo out at the minute in sector 1, going through the S's section. A lot of time can be made here and lost. Here we go to enter sector 2 and the famous Passover, the only track in the calendar which has a which actually crosses over on itself. So it's a figure 8 track. Goes right down for the hairpin, first gear, second gear for the exit. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him, but hopefully not going to hold him up too much here. It looks like, I think that might be, yeah, that's Clara just ahead of Hugo. And Hugo is on a fast lap here, so Clara may actually hold him up a bit. Clara just, yeah, moving over Hugo. You saw him there get the wheel a little bit on the grass area, just unsettled the car, and he sent it back out of this lap altogether. It looked like a pretty fast one, but traffic was distracting him there. We've also got Kitsune in chat. Hello, Kitsune. Bonjour. Bonne nuit. Ça va? And that's about the height of my French for today. So let's see. TipsyBob is yet to set a time. Quite a number of drivers actually yet to set a time. Got Dead Pixel out there as well. Danny Co has got a time on board. So so far. Only 6 drivers putting lap times on the board. Hugo remaining on top of that 129.216. Je voudrais une orangina, s'il vous plaît. Je suis OceanChief. Yeah, that's about it. 5 years of French for 5 sentences of French. So Hugo's backing off on this lap. Thimo goes top. Thimo with a 129 flat, and that takes him to the top of the leaderboard. 0.2 off Hugo. Thimo immediately back into the pits and immediately back out again. We saw Hugo win the last time out, I believe. Let me just check his standings information if I can access that. So let's have a look here. And the Drivers' Championship Terror is first. He's got a massive haul of 133 points, and the gap behind the second is 35 gaps. That would be Thimo, who did indeed win the last race and rode America in the USA. It was his first win, but could be a indication of what's to come here. We've seen Thimo very, very fast. Look at that Terror with a 129 flat. Also, all that separates Thimo and Terror is 0.004, the slimmest of margins. Actually, that's not correct. The slimmest of margins would be slimmer than that, but that's a pretty slim margin. Let me just turn down the game volume and turn up my sultry tones. Hopefully that is a bit better. Feedback on the audio levels is very welcome. Hopefully that sorts it out for now. So yeah, as I was saying, Thimo putting in a 129.004, so the gap to second is 0.004 rather. So Thimo and Terror look like the guys to beat in this race, but Hugo is very, very close to joining them in that flat 129 area. See him going through the S section again. It's all about getting the flow right of the car. Trying to hit every apex. See, Hugo is carrying a lot of speed here. He doesn't want to go out too wide, or he might touch the grass, and that will spell disaster. Touches the grass on the inside a little bit there, and just throws the car into the right, and then this downhill section into this slow right-hander, and then as much power as possible before the slow left hairpin. And we're coming up to sector 3. A lot of elevation here. It's pedal to the metal, breaking down to 5th gear, and trying to carry as much speed onto the back straight here. This is where we saw Hugo go off before. I believe the corner is 130R. This one here, left-hander, and you want to carry as much speed in there as possible. Sometimes you want to just lift off the throttle just to give yourself a little bit of confidence going into the corner, and then it's through the final chicane and across the line to the start-finish line, and Thimo sets a 128. I actually thought that was Hugo we were on board with, but yes, driver change that needs to be announced is Thimo has joined the BMW team. And will be partners with Hugo. We're two very fast drivers in the BMWs right now. But Thimo is blowing everybody out of the water right now. He has set a new fastest lap time, almost a second faster than his previous. Terror and Hugo have work to do, and strangely enough, we haven't seen anybody else put times on the board, so no sign of Tipsy and What else do we got here? Yeah, Tipsy and Icewind have yet to put a lap on the board, as has Dead Pixel. So I believe those guys will be struggling right now. But let's see. Hugo is out on track. He's going through 130R and then into the final chicane. What has he got? Oh, he's going on to, it looks like he's actually starting a fast lap here. So let's stay with Hugo as he just passes Thimo coming out of the pits there. And carrying as much speed into this double right-hander as is possible through the S's section again. Just feathering into throttle. Carrying as much speed as possible through here and trying to get a good entry into this corner as it's uphill. Flat out. Small left-hand kink. And then it's throwing the car into this double right-hander. Trying to get the car slowed down for that. Oh, and Hugo made a mistake there. He went too deep. And it looked like he had to correct the car. Will cost him time. Thimo is in the pits. We've got Tipsy finally on the board. Struggling a little bit. He's at 132.3. Oh, Hugo just throwing the car into these corners. You see the back end just wanted to escape on him there, but he managed to keep the car on track and is heading down to 130R. Notorious corner. He's claimed many a victim. Dead Pixel up to 5th with 130. He's closing in on those top guys, so Hugo crossing the line here, and it looks like, yep, Hugo is now into the 128.7, and that was with that mistake, so he has got some more time in the tank. Might be worth joining Terror as he's on another hot lap, it looks like. Looks like he's struggling a little bit for the S's here, heading the curve, having to lift a little bit. Might cost him a little bit of time. And qualifying is over, so this will be the final run that Terror will be able to do. And he throws the car through the fast right-hander, and the car almost went airborne there. And Terror has to back out as a result, so he will not be bettering his time. The only driver left on track on a lap is Triton, and he makes it through successfully through where Terror failed, but he does get it wrong on the exit. Runs very wide, and that will cost him some time. Still might be able to better his time off a 132, and that is a 132 flat if ever I saw one. 132.000. So Thimo setting a 128.116 to get pole position, and Triton obviously struggling on this track in this game. 4 seconds off that pace at the moment, but he might go faster. We don't know yet. I'm not getting any delta information, but it does look like he's struggling to get the car slowed down in time for the corners. And he crosses the start-finish line. Yeah, he isn't. Oh, he does better his time there, but it doesn't affect the leaderboard or starting positions. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so this is where things get a little bit squirrely. Just waiting for the game to start now. For those who don't know, Assetto Corsa is not commentator friendly, so I will need to cancel out of this race, go to the pits, and then and only then will we be able to spectate on the race ahead of us. So I'm expecting a lot of guys are going to struggle today, and we may see a lot of mistakes, but it could be a fun race nonetheless. And there we have it, the lights are up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, 6 red lights. And we're go for the Suzuka Grand Prix. There we have it. Let's go and check out the action here. Thimo maintains the lead of the Grand Prix for now. Terror is in second, Hugo third. Oh, it looks like there's a bit of a change of position back there, and Kirst is... his car is going everywhere. I think that's more of a technical issue rather than his actual driving style. I don't think he could... unless he's decided to do a Tokyo Drift edition of Suzuka here today, but it's right up front. Terror is very, very close behind Thimo, but look at this. Hugo putting a lot of pressure on Terror as he slowed down here for the hairpin. You see the concertina effect. So quite bunched up for now, but we can see Tipsy, he's already dropping off these top 3 guys, top 4 guys. Danny hanging in there with the top 3 for now. Even Hugo dropping off Terror a little bit. So we're seeing gaps starting to formulate already. Triton is at the back, so he was the biggest loser from that lap 1 start. Clara has got himself up to 6, so that's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that back there. So he's very close to Tipsy. They're actually battling, and there's a bit of contact there. But Tipsy manages to get through for the start finish straight, and Clara will have a really good run on him right now. Both have DRS open. Tipsy guarding that inside line as they head down to turn 1. He's fast double right-hander, and Clara has a position before they make it to the corner, so he takes back his position. And Danny, what has happened to Danny? Danny has had an off. Oh dear, he was running well in P4, so we've got Clara up to P4 now. Triton has DNF'd. He's out of this Grand Prix, but let's check out what's happening up front. We've got 3 drivers battling it out for P1 position here. Terror Incognito is closing in on Thimo a little bit here, and Hugo keeping both the front runners honest here. We know Hugo is a very fast driver when he's on form, and it looks like he may well have something in the bag here. I just want to check Hugo. Yeah, so Hugo is top finish in Assetto Corsa this season has been a top 3 position, which is great, but top 3. Danico actually got 2nd last time out, so it's unfortunate that he has had that incident early on. Oh, and Terror getting it all wrong in the final chicane there, hitting a lot of curb. Hugo will be all over him now. Hugo actually setting a fastest lap that time round, and Hugo is trying to go around the outside. It's a double right-hander, a very daring maneuver, and it looked like he just gave Terror a bit too much space. He maybe thought Terror was a bit closer than he was, and Hugo had to back out of that, so Terror retakes P2. But it's heating up nicely here for these podium positions. We've a long way to go yet, 24 laps. Wah wah wee wah. Hello Satoshi. Thanks for joining us in chat. You've joined us as these top 3 are battling hard over these podium positions. Thimo in the lead. He's led from the start of the Grand Prix. Terror and Hugo both keeping him honest. So it's who blinks first here right now. Who makes the first mistake? We've got Triton as DNF'd. And I just want to try some right here. Okay, and we may well have one of the guys join us in VC, depending on how their race goes. Maybe Triton will join us. We don't know. Maybe give us a bit of insight as to what happened there. Oh, and look at this. Purple laps for Thimo and Terror. And Hugo dropping off a little bit there on that lap. And interestingly, Clara holding on to that P4 position. Tipsy has pitted. I wonder, has he had an issue? He may have picked up some damage, maybe with that collision with Clara and the final chicane. We don't know. But Danny is now up to P6, so he's working his way through the ranks. We've got Kirst. We have not actually mentioned Kirst at all this Grand Prix. But Kirst is struggling massively in last position. So his F1 form is not carrying over to Assetto Corsa. So the generational talents, abilities. Oh, and he clips the curb there and goes into the dirt. I wonder if he is actually going to complete this Grand Prix. TipsyBob is out again. He'll have a fresh set of tires and hopefully whatever issue he had. Oh, he clips the curb there and he almost launches the car into the gravel. So he's struggling himself back there. Dead Pixel in the other Renault is in P5 and not doing too bad right now. He's hanging in there. May well be able to put up a fight for P4, but we'll keep an eye on that gap. That gap to P4 currently 6 seconds. And Curse with a personal best of 1:43, while the top guys, Thimo, Terra and Hugo with 1:31s, 1:32. So these guys setting a blistering pace right now. You see P4 there, Clara 1:33, Dead Pixel with a 1:32.7. So he is chipping away at that lead to Clara. So we'll keep an eye out for that battle developing. And there's Danny as well with a 1:32.6. So this is something I've noticed in past races as well. As the race gets on, the guys get faster. Obviously, the fuel load will decrease, and we've yet to get the first pit stop for these top guys. So they will get a fresh set of tires, and we'll see the lap times tumble down even further. Hello to Nef Luke in chat. Thanks for joining us. And just to give you a bit of a recap, we've got Thimo leading from lap 1. Well, as you can see from the timing intervals, Terror is keeping him honest, but as we're seeing here, Hugo is right up behind Terror and may go for a move here. Decided against going for a move before the final chicane here, so he wants to get a really good exit from that final corner onto the start-finish straight. Terror already with a DRS open. All three now with DRS open. A Terror with a 1:31.3. A very, very fast time there from Terror. He'll need to maintain and be consistent with those lap times if he wants to chip away to lead to Thimo. Oh, and Hugo getting it wrong there. He's put it into the gravel and will lose a lot of time because you already see 3-second gap developing there, 4-second gap. Hugo just needs to recompose himself here. He's still got Terror up the road there. You can still see him, so still a lot to play for right now. And now that Terror, see Terror getting it a little bit wrong. I wonder if these tires are starting to fade a little bit. We're seeing a few mistakes creep in here and there. Oh, and we have a bit of a battle emerging here between Dead Pixel and Clara. We've seen Dead Pixel set purple lap times, and the gap is 1.5 currently. Thimo with a fastest lap of the race of 1:30.918. Terror will see that on his screen and it will hopefully give him a bit of fuel, and he'll be able to chip away at that lead even further. He needs to really be setting qualifying lap after qualifying lap here. No mistakes allowed. Thimo as well will be feeling. Oh, what have we got here? Dead Pixel's car looked like it just fell apart there. I think we're having a bit of connection issues here, but Dead Pixel, that is whatever that issue was, has cost him a few seconds. And he's got to watch out. Danny Coe is just down the road and will be trying to close up on Dead Pixel. And even we may even see Danny Coe challenge for P4 before the race is over. TipsyBob again in the pits. He's down in P7 with Cursed away behind in P8. TipsyBob, I'm not sure what's happening there with him. He's looks like he's getting quite a service there from the pit mechanics. So we're up front again here with Thimo. The gap has closed down a little bit. Oh, and Hugo has put a charge on. He's got the fastest lap in the bag now at 1:30.3. He's not too far off these top two guys, so he's still in this race. Oh, and TipsyBob is actually being overtaken by Cursed. We've also got Danny Coe in the pits. I think TipsyBob is maybe just maybe Kitsune could check out first what is going on with TipsyBob. He's still in the pits, so I'm guessing he's just given up on this race for now. Danny Coe as well in the pits. He's taking his sweet time. And there we go, he's underway. Maybe a bit of damage repaired there, but what have we got happening up front here? Terror is continuing to close down on Thimo. He is hunting him down, chipping away at the gap. 0.8 is the gap right now. We're coming up to probably coming up to the pit window time in the next handful of laps. Just watching that interval just bounce around, but it's maintaining around the 1 second gap or under. Okay, Kitsune, if you oh, there he is, TipsyBob. Join me, Area 51, mate. Come. You're more than welcome to join me in the booth for this one. Just in time for a epic duo. Oh, who is that? That is, oh, that's Cursed in the background, struggling there, but gets himself out of the way. Nicely done. Okay. Going to move myself into the commentator's booth. Hopefully Tipsy can see that. Sorry, a lot going on here. So Terra has got this gap down to 0.3. This is closer than ever. I wonder if he's lining him up for a pass on the start-finish straight. I think Thimo is pretty good at getting the exit out of here, but this is the closest we've seen them so far. And Thimo knows Terror's there. He's half thinking about guarding that inside line. Doesn't want to give up too much. Oh, there we go. The man himself, the myth, the legend, TipsyBob.
The
well,
DNFer.
The DNFer, yeah, that looked like a tough one there for you. What happened?
Just no experience in this game at all. So I kind of predicted this, as you know, that if this would happen, I would join you. So here I am. It's quite tough going out there, I have to admit, in terms of the tires and the brakes and the mid-sector too. Pretty difficult for me anyway. I see some of these top guys struggling too as well on this hairpin we're taking with terror at the moment. It's so easy to lock up, well, for me as well. And for me definitely easy to lock up. But it's just hard going, I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah, if you put the practice in, you're you're gonna do well in the race. But I think a lot of the guys here haven't practiced much for this one.
So you see sector 1 going up through the S's. It's like it's nothing like the the official Formula 1 game. The speed you can go up in the S's is incredible, and it's a great feeling. It's just the rest of the sectors where I'm sucking at the moment. So we've got a good battle on track at the moment between Tara and Thimo.
Yeah, they've been at it all race. Hugo was up there with them, so I'll just give you a bit of a recap for you and the viewers. So Timo's led from lap 1. Tara's been keeping him honest. Has been within about 1 second constantly, just putting the pressure on Thimo. But so far, Thimo is keeping it cool in that cockpit. Then we got Hugo, who was right up behind Tara for first handful of laps, and then he made a mistake there, just coming out of the S's section. Just got into the gravel a little bit. And then, of course, we've got Clara in P4. Dead Pixel, we've seen him struggle a wee bit, but he is closing up on Clara, so that's a battle we need to watch out for. Danny Coe had an off and has pitted, and has cost him a lot of time. And then, of course, Kurt's there on +3 laps. Struggling in Assetto Corsa, so he hasn't really got the grips with this game just yet, but we know he's a fast driver, so hopefully he will come on eventually. And we've got yourself, of course, still in the pits. So you can rejoin the race if you want, but yeah.
I think I'd rather sit beside you and talk on the action. Just to touch on what you were saying there about Dead Pixel, I've been running on board with him while you were giving the rundown there. And he's closed the gap right on the back of Clara. It seems to be sector 1 where he seems to be struggling, where Clara seems to stretch the legs on him, but then sector 2 and 3 is when he closes the gap. So if he can just nail if he can just nail sector 1, he could get a jump. He could probably get the jump on him on maybe sector 2, but more likely on the big long straight to sector 3. But it's still a close battle as it is.
Cool. Yeah, I think that, like Terror, we've seen him before. He's a very patient racer. He knows his stuff, and I think he's just content right now just to keep behind Thimo and hope Thimo makes a mistake. As we see Thimo getting it a little bit wrong there. Yes, he does indeed, and Terror goes for the move. He's got the inside line Thimo's got the inside line for this hairpin. So, and Terror looks like Terror got a better exit. Bit of contact there, yeah, but...
Well, Clara runs right, Chief. Clara runs right on the top of the S's and runs off onto the dirt, and Dead Pixel just slips it right down the side, and that is a move done. Nicely done by Dead Pixel. Yeah, he was very patient, he was basically doing what a Terror does, just hanging on, just being a constant pain in Clara's mirrors, and then the pressure, Clara must have succumbed to the pressure, and just a bit too eager in the power, ran wide on the top of the S's. And Dead Pixel gets the move, gets the position.
Good stuff there. And just up front then, we've got the top three guys are bunched up once again. So Hugo has made massive gains on these top 2.
Oh yes.
I think that battling that Terra and Thimo were doing on that last lap has cost him a lot of time. So Hugo is back in the mix, and I think Hugo's looking good for this race win. I mean, at the minute he has got a lot of pace. I mean, if he could just minimize the mistakes, just keep the head down, recompose, he is looking very good. I think he's actually the fastest lap owner to date, I believe, anyway.
Well, if you also consider that Timo's pushing to keep Terra behind him and Terra's pushing to catch him, which is going to have a negative effect on their tyres, whereas Hugo has just been, pacing himself lap after lap, probably saving, as we see Terra locks up there, just a perfect example, really pushing to get this move done. So I agree with you. I think this is definitely playing into the hands of Hugo in terms of just mainly tyre strap. He's just been really, not really pushing to catch these guys, just being consistent lap after lap. And yeah, I think tyre management here is probably going to win out for Hugo. I think he should just try and stay up with these guys as he is, and just let them battle it out, because I reckon they're probably going to have to pit before him, and then whenever he gets the subsequent jump on them in the pits, then he can just really nail those lap times.
Okay, I just saw something strange there come up my screen. Maybe you can explain. But Kurt said it fastest lap time, and it's a very, very fast lap. A 128.8. I mean, these
Oh.
top three guys are doing 132, 131s. Oh, and it looks like a double stack in the
Oh.
pits here. We've
Yeah,
got a
I'm just
double stack.
watching
Yeah.
that.
I mean, how does that work out? Is there 2 boxes for the drivers per, or do you have to share?
It's not something I've experienced, but well, hang on a minute. No, because sure, Hugo's not in the same team with, is he?
Yeah,
What's
Timo swapped over to BMW, so they are actually in the same team now.
Hugo and Terra?
Yeah, I know Hugo and Timo.
Right, I don't know whether I didn't see Hugo really stop for the pits there, but maybe it did. Maybe he's got his pit stop done a bit earlier than I would have expected.
Yeah, well, he's got 5
Right.
second gap now to Timo, so there was an issue there in the pits. Interesting stuff there, interesting. So Terror, that is played right into his hands, so we'll see. I'm on board with Terror at the minute. Oh, as he gets it a bit wide there, going into the tight left-hander. Didn't cost him too much time, hopefully, but I wonder if he's going to be thinking about pitting right now. Terror is on... Is he on C3s then, is that right?
E3s, yeah. So that would be the softs. So how it goes,
Yeah,
so
is
the
it Terror in
C1 would
pits
be
there?
the hard compound, right the way up to C5 would be like the ultra softs. So C3 would be the soft.
Okay, so Terror is in the pits now, so I'm just gonna ride on board with Timo, who's just coming into the final chicane. Oh, he locked it up there. It looked like he got that line wrong, but he's about to cross the start-finish line. Terror is indeed in the pits, so Timo has made up a lot of time here on... Oh, there's Terror there. Oh.
So
Timo just came out in front of Terror there, just about.
So I was running on board with Kirst, and Kirst seems to have glitched through the map. He's just... But I can see why he got the fastest lap, because when you're running down to the end of Sector 3 round 130R, and then the heavy braking zone, he just rocketed on straight, so that's probably why he's got that time. But at the moment he is spiraling under the depths of the track, so cheerio, Kirst.
I would switch to his camera, but right now I got Terror and Timo are battling. There's a gap of 0.2. These guys are going hard at each other. I think Terror knows he needs to get past Timo quickly here, if he wants to kind of, put his stamp on this race. And what else have we got? So just having a look through it. Doesn't look like there's any other battles on track. Hugo's dropped off a good bit there. We saw that pit issue. It's cost him about 5 seconds, but he is closing in. And again, with these Timo and Terror battling in at front here, it should play into his hands again. I think right now Hugo is the fastest guy on the track, so just see him come around the final chicane in the background, and he should be joining these guys pretty soon, I would say.
Yeah, I can just see him on the rear view mirror of Terror. So yeah, Terror's going to want to try and get this move done on Timo, because he doesn't want to have to start defending then against Hugo and then drop off Timo. He'll want to give Timo that problem of having to defend against a charging BN over there.
Exactly, yeah. And you can see that gap to Hugo is coming down quite quickly. 3.5, just chipped off half a second in Sector 1 alone. And I have to say, just the corners that just went through there, the fast right-hander and the downhill right-hander, that looks kind of particularly scary in this game. I think I was on board with you, and you maybe just clipped a curb on the entry and it almost sent the car flying in the air.
Yeah. So I was testing it in the qualifying, how much you can take in that, and I know in other Formula 1 games you can take it pretty much flat out, but for me I had to brake. It's whenever you get to the end of that corner, when you're going down to the downhill braking zone to the right hander, that's where I seem to be struggling a lot. as well as this where Terra is at the moment, the final braking zone at the end of the 130R. It's just more or less for me on my side. It's just lack of experience in this game. When you watch Hugo and Tara and Thimo, you can see what is possible with these guys because they're so well experienced. But for me, the greatest experience I have so far today is where Tara and Thimo are at the moment. These S's or these spiraling uphill chicanes. It's one of the most amazing feelings I've had in a game so far in terms of the raw speed that you can take them at, and the grip that you've got is incredible. I mean, I think definitely from what I've learned in the Assetto Corsa is that it really does reward you if you've got a little bit of balls, you know, you just really send it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you are too complacent, it will rip your head off. This game, it's literally brutal in terms of, you know, how easy it is to just lose. But while this little battle's going on, I'm just noticing that Hugo is really catching now in the back of Tara. Tara seemed to get a better run there out of that exit. But definitely you can see that car and rear view mirror of Tara getting a lot bigger. And then these two guys, Thimo and Tara, seem to be neutralizing each other in terms of just raw pace. There seems to be this gap has developed between them, and Thimo can't extend it, but Tara can't seem to close it either. So again, this still could play into the hands of Hugo, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, as I say, I think Hugo is on for a win today. I just have a feeling about it, so don't quote me on that though. As Thimo sets a personal best 130.8, so he is not taking this lightly. He's not. He's just basically at this point. It looks like these guys, the top three guys, are just doing the hot laps after hot laps. And I wonder if we're going to see one of them make a mistake. We saw Thimo, the back end there, just wanted to get loose, but he's managed to control that nicely. Tara has got the gap down to 0.5 now, so I think another thing I've noticed is, like, you know, one driver seems to be particularly good in one sector and will make up some time, but then the next sector comes and the other driver is better at that sector, and it's swings and roundabouts.
You know, I would definitely agree with that. We've seen that earlier on with Dead Pixel and Clara, where Clara seemed to have the run on Dead Pixel on Sector 1, but Sector 2 and 3, Dead Pixel had the legs on him. You know, he could easily catch him, no problem. I know for me there, as I was just to go, not to sound like a broken record, but for me, I thought, I've only done a bit of practice today, and I thought for me the first sector was my strongest point, because I was just so confident sending it up the hill, but just the rest of the track, it was just no confidence in it whatsoever.
Yep, and as we were talking about there, Hugo has indeed closed up in these guys. They're not battling too much to the top two, but Hugo is just hammering these lap times in. See, 130.6, whereas Tara and Thimo were 131s.
Yeah, Hugo's pace is going to force the hand of Tara in here any minute now, because Tara has to decide, if he's just pacing himself, as we know Tara does, he manages his fuel very well. If he's just pacing himself in terms of mounting a charge near the end, whenever he may think that Thimo may be more vulnerable, then Hugo's going to spoil that party for him, because Hugo's charging here, and Tara's going to, like I say, he's going to force Tara's hand in terms of, right, I'm going to have to make a move here, because if I don't, Hugo's going to be onto me, and I'm going to start dropping back, and you're basically handing the win to Thimo. So I would expect to see Tara really starting to punch in these lap times and really push it. But as we know in any game, and especially Assetto Corsa, once you start pushing beyond, or not beyond the limit, but once you start pushing the limit, that's when things happen in this game, because it is brutal. The cars are very unforgiving. And in terms of, I heard you mention there about Thimo losing the back end there just a little bit.
Yeah.
From what I've experienced, it's actually you can catch the car in the Assetto Corsa, but there's a small window. There's a small window for catching the car, and if you don't catch it, then you've lost it. Yeah, we can really see now on Tara's onboard and his camera just how close Hugo is at the moment. So this is definitely, I don't know whether Tara's got much more to give, but we're going to see something happen soon. Tara's going to have to start making a move on Thimo. Like I said, Hugo's going to force his hand here any minute.
Yeah, another factor to take into account is the fact that Hugo and Timo are now teammates. So you've got a
Yes.
BMW sandwich right now, and Terror is the filler. So, like, I mean, I don't know if there's. I know the guys are being voice chat right now, and I'm not sure if they will be. Because I think Terror, wouldn't they all be in voice chat together?
Yeah, I just checked it all out together.
So there wouldn't be any kind of team orders in. Oh!
That
It
was a
looked like-
close one there.
Yeah, what happened there? Was
Timo,
it?
yeah, Timo seemed to leave it a bit late for the braking and almost caught Terror out by surprise and nearly rear-ended him, but that's going to make a flat spot on the Timo's tyres, because these tyres are very sensitive to how you treat them. So yeah, it's like I'm saying, we're going to start seeing some a bit of action out from Terror, because he's going to have to start forcing this. And in terms of the teammate strat, yeah, it would play into Timo and Hugo's hands. That if Terror could just Timo could just start lifting off a little bit and backing up Terror into Hugo, and then that'll let Timo kick it off.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, we have a car off, that's just cursed. He's come back from the depths of the track.
Good old curse. That's what I'm saying. If they're in voice chat together, they can't really do any kind of secret strategy, you know. If they say anything in chat, it'll be Terror will be listening in.
Yeah, but even if they did, even if Timo was saying, "No, back up," or I'm going to back Terror up to you, and Terror can understand it. I mean, what can Terror do? He can maybe just force the pass on him, but he still knows Hugo's catching him. So, whether he knows it or not, he's still going to have to defend against you. I still think this is not over yet. There's going to be a bit of action here.
Yeah, and is dirty air a thing in this game?
I wouldn't be experienced enough to comment on that. I haven't noticed it as in the little running that I've done, but I suppose we've got a perfect onboard here with Terror, how long he's been running behind Thimo, and he doesn't seem to be being affected too much by any dirty air. So, eternity. I don't know whether that was a spectator bug, but he almost got sideways there. Lost a bit of time to Thimo. No, I'm not sure dirty air is an issue. I could be wrong, but from what I've experienced and what I'm witnessing here, it doesn't seem to be an issue.
Yeah, it's just wondering because Hugo did seem to drop off a wee bit there, but as he's close in within a second here.
You see, but then again, maybe it is an issue, Chief, because as we see in real life, dirty air kind of neutralizes a gap between two drivers, and then you can't really extend it, but you can't catch them either. And that's kind of what we're seeing between Terror and Thimo at the moment. So it's possible dirty air is having an effect, because Hugo's caught up behind on the back of Terror, but then doesn't seem to be able to get any closer. So in saying that, you would kind of think maybe dirty air is an issue.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, I would hate to be in I would hate to be Thimo right now. You've got like Terror right on your gearbox, and then behind Terror you've got Hugo, two incredibly fast drivers. The pressure in that cockpit right now must be immense.
Yeah, well, I'm just noticing Thimo seems to be locking up at that same hairpin every time, and like I said, that is going to have an effect on his tires. Yes, well, Thimo has showed in the past and previous how he can sometimes succumb to the pressure, but he's pretty experienced in this game, and as we've seen him last time out in USA, whenever Danny was forcing a right charge in the back of him, Thimo's just held his ground, held his nerve, and it was actually Danny that lost it. So this can only just be good for Thimo in terms of this experience, and this experience and his knowledge of how to control this pace is just going to help him in further races. But he doesn't seem to be giving any signs that he is succumbing to any kind of pressure other than that hairpin where he locks up. So far I think he's doing a good job, and Hugo seems to be dropping off a little bit now.
Yeah, and we're running out of laps here, so we've got four or five laps left in this race. So it's all to play for, you know what I mean? All it takes is one tiny mistake, and it could really shake things up here. But for now, Thimo is holding his own, and Terror is maintaining that gap behind him. And we're seeing Hugo as well. He's in this battle as well, but he's He's got the gap now under 1 second, so we may see him starting to force his way into this battle now a bit more.
Hugo and Thimo both lock up. Yeah, going back to what you were saying earlier about the strengths of drivers, I've been running on board for a good 10 laps now with Terra, and it definitely seems that Sector 2 is Thimo's weakest area, because Terra seems to close the gap on him big time. And I think that if you're going to see a move, if not on the main straights, I reckon you could maybe see, if Terra can get close enough, he probably will go for a lunge at Sector 2 or the hairpin, because that's where Thimo seems to be struggling quite a bit in terms of, you know, just getting the braking right. So you can see Thimo here stretching a little bit of a gap on Terra. Whenever we get to the top of the S's, you'll start to see Terra starting to reel him in terms of, you know, how quicker he is in Sector 2, but as it appears so in fact, he's in saying that, he's actually catching him in Sector 1 already on the S's.
Yeah, and Hugo's dropping off big time. His gap's now about 2 seconds, so he's kind of, yeah, this battle is looking like it's now down to Terra and Thimo for now anyway. So maybe those lockups are affecting Hugo a bit more than they are Thimo. I'm just looking in chat as well. We've got Kitsune saying there's no carnage, it's too clean, and I think this viewer has got bloodlust. She just wants to see carnage.
Yeah, Kitty likes a bit of carnage. She's a bit aggressive, so she is, especially trying to live with her as well. Well, I have to say that during the quali and the practice sessions of Assetto Corsa, she made probably one of the greatest cups of tea I have ever tasted.
Damn.
So, another one would be quite nice, Kitsune.
Hint, hint. And just as she's calling for carnage, I just switched to curse there and saw him flying through there into the barrier, so hopefully that'll satisfy Kitsune for now. Back on board with Thimo though, he's up front. Terror is still on his case though, 0.6, but if Thimo can just keep his head down here and just keep on chipping away at these, keeping his lap times consistent, he is going to win this race, it looks like, because I think Hugo is out of the battle. He's almost 3 seconds down the road now. So
yeah, Hugo seemed to be struggling in Sector 3 on terms of the brakes, because or Sector 2 as well at the hairpin, where Thimo seems to be locking up as well. And I mean, that's no shame for them, because I mean, I was locking up all the time as well, and you know, it is a difficult corner as we're actually approaching it now. If you just watch Thimo here on Towers Comp, he locks up again, but Thimo seems to know that that's an issue for him, and he's covering the inside line, so that when he does lock up, then you know, at least he knows Terra's not going to slip up the inside and forces him to go around the long way around.
Yeah, as long as he gets a good exit, he's good then. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the only place where Thimo seems to be struggling at all. I haven't seen Terra lock up yet on that section, but Terra's really pushing the charge here on 130R. So yeah. I think this is what he's gonna go for a lunge now.
He thought about it, but he backed out.
It's gonna happen now, boys. Anybody watching, it's gonna happen. Oh no, not quite, because Terra got an awful run off the line there, and it's just played straight into the hands of Thimo.
Yep, it's cost him there that kind of indecision there. I can understand what was going through his head there. It looked like he could have maybe sent it up the inside, but yeah, I think he was best just to back out of that one.
Yeah, because I mean the door was going to close on a 90-degree bend, so that would have just played into the hands of.
Yeah, it's a tight chicane. Getting two cars through there is a mission.
Just passing on this game as well on the corners, I find, is a skill in itself, because you need a really compliant, you know, opponent as well. That was the cleanest Thimo took that hairpin, so not many laps to go.
Yeah.
This is looking pretty tasty for Thimo.
Yep. Penultimate lap here, so all he has to do is keep it together. Oh, he goes very wide there. Gets his line all wrong. Terror had to back out there once again, so Terror will be all over him on this back straight.
So is there one lap left?
Yes, after this one, there's one lap. Yeah.
So Tara's got the
Oh,
run
he's-
on him, and he's gonna. Is
Oh,
he gonna go for the dive on the inside? Timo defends the inside. Tara goes around the
Oh,
right side.
there's
and he touched
contact.
the touch.
Terror's off, and Thimo makes the corner, but I wonder what's going to happen here. Is Terror going to slow down for Thimo, or it looks like he is letting him pass? No, he is not.
But then you see Hugo's coming up the back end as well, so this is gonna get really tasty.
This is a shootout on the final lap. Terror is now in the lead. Thimo getting it a bit wrong, and Thimo and Hugo are side by side going into the S's. I think Thimo has just managed to keep that P2 position for now. But it is all happening on this last lap. Oh dear, I can't even look.
You see that that move was seen there, kind of was a perfect example of what I was saying, that it is actually difficult to pass on a corner on these cars because the little bit of touching on it, and it just sends you off. So it has to be super precise, and you need a compliant driver. But the Hero's dropping off the back of Thimo here, so I'm thinking if ever we're going to see a move here, it's going to be between Thimo on this long run, on the long back straight.
Yeah, but I think Terror's stretching his legs a little bit here. The gap is 0.6, so unless
Oh, Taron's
Oh,
wide!
I was just about to say, if he makes a mistake in this corner, he is going to
and
compromise
Thimo nearly
himself.
lost it as well. Hugo's going to have a bit. Oh, and Hugo nearly loses it as well. They must all be struggling for rear end.
Yeah, and I don't think Thimo's going to get Terror, but Hugo may well get Thimo.
There's going to
He's
be only
right
a
on
plunge
his
here
back.
in the last penultimate corner. Hugo's going up and down the inside. Thimo's defending the inside. Does he lock?
Oh, Hugo backed out of that completely, so he did. So Thimo
Terra
does
crosses
indeed.
the line, and what a fantastic performance from these top three guys.
Yeah, what a final lap there from the three of them. That was epic stuff. And I think Thimo just channeled
Taking a
his...
bit of frustration out there on Terra's car.
Yeah, congrats to Terra there. That was some good stuff from him. Very patient throughout the whole race, and it paid off.
Yeah. I thought there on the second last lap there that that was just going to play perfectly into the hands of Hugo whenever Terra and Thimo, made contact, but they seemed to keep it on track, and Terra got the move done. So I mean, this is a good example of how being just patient and sticking with your guy, especially in this game, can give you the lead, because anything can happen in this game.
Indeed, yeah. I've just sent a wee message to Terra to see if we can get him on the broadcast for an interview. I would love to hear from him after that one. But so the final standings then are Terra Incognito first, Thimo second, Hugo third, and I best mentioned Dead Pixel's fourth place finish. Didn't get much screen time, but that's a very good P4 from him. Clara P5 then, and P6. Got Danny who DNF there, but he was the last of the...
Hey guys.
Oh, there we go.
Hey,
Terra,
Terra.
how's it going, sir? Thanks for joining us.
No worries. I am almost literally dripping in sweat.
I bet.
It was extremely intense.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic watch, man. Just I was running on board with you for about 17 laps, and the gap between you and Thimo was just neutralizing all the time.
Yeah.
You were able to. Timo seemed to be struggling on the hairpin at the end of sector 2. He locked up quite a bit. That's where you were able to close the gap on him, and then it was just kind of maintaining it. That gap seemed to be maintaining all the way. And Chief was asking me in terms of is dirty air an effect in this game, and I wasn't really sure. Just wondering what your take on it. Were you struggling with any dirty air?
Oh yeah, dirty air is just like that. I was basically, what was happening was that I was just on the edge of the dirty air, and as soon as you will have seen me a couple of times get close in the S's, because I think he was a bit slower than I was in the S's, definitely in the second stint. I think my tires were slightly better.
I thought that was the point where I was faster.
No, I think I gained on you in the S's pretty much every lap.
Oh, okay.
But
the first stint I felt like I was flying there. But yeah.
But yeah, the whenever I got anywhere near in the S's, I would just wash out with understeer and lose 2 or 3 tenths, and it was just like that all the time. And in the hairpin, I gained in the hairpin, but then I couldn't get the run out of the hairpin, so it was like it was this really weird thing where I was trying very, very hard to get a run out of the hairpin and turning the battery up all the way for that section in the hope that I could get a slipstream. And finally, with 2 laps to go, Thimo made a mistake into spoon, and I got right up on him and I got into the slipstream, and then it was
Don't worry,
gloves off
Timo.
from
We'll
there.
get you in a minute, Timo. Don't worry.
Yeah, like I said, I was watching that, and I would agree with you there. Definitely in the latter stages of the race, you were definitely closing the gap quite rapidly in Sector 1 on the S's. And then, of course, like I said, Thimo kept locking up on the end of the Sector 2 at the hairpin, but he was able to just stretch that gap on the fast section where you couldn't catch up.
Yeah.
But I was saying on the commentating earlier on that I don't know whether you were trying to play the long game in terms of maybe mounting a charge near the end, but Hugo was kind of forcing your hand a little bit because he was really catching you really fast.
Yeah, he was. It was a really difficult situation. I was very glad both stints when Hugo's made that mistake or made those mistakes, because yeah, I mean that's just a nightmare for a for a driver. Honestly, like when you're trying to pass somebody who's holding you up, and you've got somebody snapping at your heels as well, who's obviously much faster. Because I mean, he gained like 4 seconds in the first part of the second stint on us because he was just very fast. He was doing 1 minute 30s. I was doing I was sort of locked to Timo's pace, but we were doing sort of mid 31s. So yeah, Hugo's was really fast. But yeah, I mean that was sort of the idea. Like the long game was sort of what I was thinking about. I definitely made a mistake not pitting when they pitted. I knew they were pitting, and I had fuel for an extra lap, and I was like, surely I'll be fast enough on the extra lap. Then I made a mistake on the extra lap and lost like three quarters of a second, and of course that meant Thimo jumped me in the pits. So that was an error. But then I knew I'd have better tyres at the end of the race, so I was just trying to sort of bide my time a little bit, and just take my opportunity when it came.
Yeah, we were running on board with you whenever the pits came, and it looked like that there was a double stacking. I'm just wondering, how does that work in this game in terms of double stacking? Is there 2 pit boxes, or did Hugo get help?
There's 2.
There is 2, okay.
Yeah, I hadn't realised that because that didn't even occur to me that they were teammates and pitting together. But yeah, I guess they're separate pit stalls.
No,
so,
you guys said he just missed his pit stall, and that's it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I have to go very soon. So
no, go for it.
So is there any questions you want to ask about my race, or is it just a rundown?
Well, we were talking about your nerve, Timo, in terms of holding your nerve, because in previous races you have succumbed a little bit to the pressure, but I pointed out to Chief and then the people watching that in the last race in USA, that was, I think, your real shining moment whenever you were leading the race and Danny was pounding you. He was like really forcing you to, he was really pushing you, and you held your ground and you were patient and you got the race win. And so we were just wondering, were you feeling the pressure, and how did you be able to manage that?
Okay, so this race was a lot different from last time. Like last time it was just, I mean, I could put the pressure on you. You talked about last time you talked about how it is following another driver in comparison to having someone in your mirror, and this time it was different because I was in the lead, obviously, for most of the time, and the problem is that I know that Terra is pretty nice on his tires in comparison to me, and I know I tortured them a bit, and basically I think in the first stint I kinda had a bit of the upper hand. I think I was a bit quicker in the end of the first stint. It was like, even but then my tires went yellow, I think they went yellow earlier than Terra's did, and then he closed up that gap massively, and I made a mistake into Dagner, but I don't think that was down to the pressure, really. I didn't look too much into the mirror, because it's quite hard to pass at Suzuka, and like in the little hairpin, I would always get a bad run out of Dagner, and he would get a good run, so I just had to cover the hairpin, and he wouldn't get through in normal cases, but in this one I screwed the Dagner too massively, so he got past in that one. I don't think that was really the pressure. It was more just me being bad on tires, and then I decided to go for the pit stop earlier because I saw that as my only shot of getting past him again. I knew it would hurt me towards the end of the race, and in the second stint I really felt the pressure. I honestly looked into my relatives like 4 times a lap. Like every time we were approaching a heavy braking zone, I looked into my relatives and was always like 0.3 seconds, and I really felt the pressure there. The only thing I thought I had going for me is that Taro normally calculates his chances, and I didn't think he would absolutely send one like 5 laps into the stint or something. It would wait till the end of the race when my tires dropped off. So I felt semi-safe. I knew was basically, until as long as my tires lasted, it was more down to me making a mistake than to him sending one on me. And then my tires obviously didn't take it very well. That they were, I think, 2 laps old, or at least 1 lap older than Tara's.
1 lap, yeah, 1 lap.
And basically in lap 26 they went into the red zone, and then at Spoon I made that mistake because I don't really have a reference point there, and if you feel the pressure, then you make small mistakes like that. But honestly I felt like the pressure didn't get to me as much as it got last race on the second stint, because there I was driving like 1 second slower because I felt because I didn't want to throw it away, and today I was just pushing it and trying to hold it together. I think I did a fine job of that until lap 26, and then the incident was funny. Like Tara was just there and I didn't see my braking marker, and then I just overshot the braking point and locked up into him, and after that my tires were gone, and he then went across the chicane obviously, and I think going by the real life example he should definitely be disqualified for not taking the chicane. I know that much about history. Then I wasn't sure if I wanted to get through, because I think I could have overtaken you into turn 1, but I
Can I just interrupt? Is that a reference to the Senna issue?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It was just a joke. No, I think I could have passed you because I lifted off there, but I thought it was my fault that you were pushed off track. Would be unfair to take the position off. And also I had the damage. I had like yellow or orange, I think yellow front wing, and so would have just risked having us both off in the final lap when you try to go around me basically.
But
Okay, yeah.
although you didn't get the win, Timo, you can still take a lot of positives from this in terms of the experience that you're gaining, leading at the front, but lap after lap under so much pressure. That's only going to help you further on in the in the season in terms of dealing with.
Yeah, hope so. Is it internet? I cannot hear you anymore. Or were you done?
I think Tipsy cut out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I mean, all I would say is that, like, you did a very good job withstanding most of that pressure. There was a lot of pressure on there. I was trying everything I possibly could in the second half of that race, and like you made 2 mistakes in 27 laps, something like that, under that sort of pressure. That's that's
yeah, and those were the ones where you passed me. I mean, one was the run on the curb, and I mean both were runs on curbs. One was cutting too much, and the other one was going wide.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the race. I mean, fair play. Also, what I forgot to mention, I was very sorry about I don't know if you caught it, the tap when Tara passed me for the first time. I basically almost killed him.
Yeah, I think
forgotten about that. Yeah.
I did catch
Yeah,
it.
I'd forgotten about it as well, but then I thought, wait, we were fighting? Oh yeah, we were fighting. I don't even know what happened there. I think I didn't leave you enough room and just gave you a little tap.
It's a little bit of a tap, and it made the car just a little bit unstable, and then
Yeah, I
I felt
saw-
it go, and I just like, it was pure reflex. I just caught it.
I saw you. I saw
yeah.
you were sideways there, and I mean, it would have also been a funny turn for the championship had he just lost the car there, because he would have gone to the inside and we would have both been out.
Yeah, Hugo's would have been the lucky recipient.
Yeah.
Good stuff. It was good.
Speaking
Good to
of
call that.
Hugo, he has joined us, so he has on the commentator channel.
Yeah.
I would leave now, so thanks for commentating. Was
Not
a
a
great
problem.
race.
Not a problem.
Bye.
Bye.
Well done, Timo.
Yeah, so we've got Hugo and Pixel have joined us there, just while Timo and Tara were talking. So, Hugo, how was that for you? I saw you closing in on the front 2 guys a number of times, but that final stint, it looked like you were struggling a bit. You dropped off a little bit. I actually thought you were going to win that race. You had some pace. It looked like you were just getting faster throughout, and with Tara and Timo battling throughout the race, it seemed to play right into your hands. So tell us about your race, mate.
Um, well, I thought I had the pace, in clean air, and I kept closing in on them. And whenever I got too close, the dirty air would just understeer me off the track, so I started falling back again. And then that was kind of what was happening the whole race, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of noticed. I picked up on that a little bit on the stream. I was wondering because you would close in within about a second, and then once you got to that kind of 1 second zone, it was, yeah, I could see you struggling, just to make the apexes, the corners, and things like that. So that's unfortunate. I mean, it's in that terror. I wanted to ask, like, if Hugo was struggling with a dirty error, but you didn't seem to be struggling too badly behind Timo with the dirty error.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt it. Like I was feeling it. I think Timo was probably right about the tires. I think as the stint wore on, I think my tires were comparatively better than Timo's. So I was able to sort of stick in his dirty air and sort of, even though I was losing a little bit of downforce, I still had the grip from the tires to some extent. But yeah, I mean, it's just like you really have to experience the dirty air in Assetto Corsa. Like it's actually like no joke at all. You need to it's you lose like 2 or 3 tenths if you're right behind somebody. I would imagine it's pretty similar to what it is in real life. Like it's if you're right behind someone entering a corner, you just have to you have to basically take it a gear lower than you normally would almost. Like it's just a crazy strong effect.
Right, so you kind of have to like change your style almost when you're racing.
Yeah. I mean, you just have. I mean, it depends on the balance of the car. Sometimes the back end will try to snap loose if you have a loose car. Sometimes you'll just understeer off, which I think is what happened to Hugo's in that first stint. But yeah, like it's you just lose so much grip, and it's so noticeable.
Okay, well, I just wanted Dead Pixel is also joining us here, and he's got a P4, so he's making a name for himself for these P4s. I mean, he's at in a row now, Dead Pixel.
That's 4 in a row.
4 fours.
Absolute Hulkenberg.
The best of the rest. Yeah, not too bad from you. We saw you close in on Clara there, and I think there were I was getting some graphical kind of glitches or connection issues, and your car was doing some strange maneuvers on track, but I think you had made a mistake at one point and dropped behind again, but then closed up pretty quickly and made the move on Clara, so that was great to see from yourself.
Yeah, so I had some ping issues, which unfortunately caused issues for Triton, so that's why he died. But yeah, like Tara was saying, the dirty air is horrible in this game, and it's really kind of a force multiplier for any balance issues you have. Because I was just getting awful understeer, like mid-corner, like turn-in would be fine, and then it'd just kind of go. So I'd close up on Clara, like, really quick, I think at one point I gained 7 tenths on him in one lap. But then I'd get right up behind him, and I just understeer off the circuit altogether. So I was just trying to stay close enough, and then he went wide in Dunlop, and it was kind of done deal from there.
Yeah, nice move from yourself to get
Yeah,
P4, so hopefully next race you might be able to get a P3 maybe, or you content with P4 for now?
At this point, I think I'm cursed to finish P4 forever. I think I'm probably actually P4 in the standings now as well.
Yeah, well, it's you're up against some very fast drivers here, so P4 is nothing to be scoffed at.
Oh yeah.
Tipsy, anything else you want to ask before we close this broadcast out?
Sorry, I was just agreeing to a cup of tea. Kitty's making me.
Priorities.
Sorry, I got sidetracked there for a moment.
Tea, then broadcast.
Yes. Well, I don't know whether you've touched on it, but there was a big accident at the start. I'm not sure what happened because at one moment I was behind a lot of guys, and then the next minute they were all behind me. So I was just wondering what happened because I know Dead Pixel was one of the guys who got caught up in it. Does anybody know what happened in that accident?
Yeah, so I think what happened was I got an alright start, but then someone was up my inside. I think it might have been you actually. So I had to go around the outside in turn 1. Clara and Curse kind of closed up on me because of that, and then with the lag, I guess my car just kind of lagged into them and caused issues, and Triton as well. So I think it was just my internet being bow.
Well, I think for me, I think I might just call it a day on Assetto Corsa until I get a bit more experience on it. Because, I mean, I'm really not, helping out at all in terms of the action on the race. So, if someone wants to take my seat, they're also they can apply for it and ask fans.
Well, I might take your seat because I feel like the 27 Hulkenberg car probably suits me.
Okay, there we have it. A driver change in the works. I'm just looking at the standings, so it looks like Tara, you're gonna further increase your 35 gap lead. Thimo is going to remain in second. I think Bance, because he hasn't attended the last few races, he's currently in third, but he may well become victim to Hugo and Dead Pixel. Danico as well with a bad finish there. He's currently in P4, so he will drop down as well. So I think the next race we've got is Canada. And
Yep, that's right. I think Hugo's got Vance now because I think he's now ahead of him because he got 12 for that, so he's 1 point ahead of him, I think.
Okay, so Hugo will be P3 then, and maybe Dead Pixel maybe P4. So
Pixel doesn't quite get fourth yet. He will after the next race because Vance obviously isn't going to be racing anymore.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
No, it's 12 points for fourth and 15 for third, so I'll jump Vance by like a point.
Nah, you're a point behind. You're on 42, he's on 55, so you'll be on 54.
Yeah, never mind. Basically P4.
It's coming. So when's the next race, Tara? Is it 2 weeks or one?
2 weeks, yeah, because we're alternating with the iRacing Enduros. So next week we got an Enduro, and the week after that it'll be Canada.
Okay, so stay posted for 2SRL. We've got Bahrain coming out tomorrow, which should be great. Had some really good races in SLR in Bahrain, so looking forward to that one tomorrow. I believe that's a 2000 CEST, so we will join you then. Anyone got any final thoughts they want to add before I call it quits here?
If I just want to say live in the public that my wife's awesome. She just made me another cup of tea, so merci beaucoup, much.
Oh, epic.
Oh,
she's raising the
you
bar.
You have to get married, boys. Tell you, it's brilliant.
And on that bombshell, we will stop the stream then. So thanks for joining us, everybody. It was a great race, and hopefully we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for another great one from Assetto Corsa, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. Bye now.
bye everyone.
Bye.